They just did the first run. So it's pushing out 7.
Hey guys, Sean here from SRKCYCLES and Bikes and Beards, and we finally got a chance. Well, okay, so we got this thing in a trade-in a couple months ago, and a little special. It's a Grand Sport, so it's got the wide body. It's got the, so it looks like a Z06. It's what it is, but it's got the motor of the base. This thing's supercharged. It's got a big supercharger. It's got a cam. It's got an intercooler. We never really knew. We had no dyno papers for it. We never knew how fast it were. How much horsepower is really putting out. We knew it was pretty quick. So we took this thing to the dyno. Now the problem was, when we took it to the dyno, I was in Georgia, so the guys did it without me. So I got to miss all that stuff. We decided to get it dyno tuned a couple weeks later. Let me show you all that stuff. But if you're wondering when they're on the dyno, if you're wondering why they go through first gear, they go through second, and they go through third, and that's when they really hit it, it's because what they're trying to do is they're trying to get a 1-to-1 gear ratio, and so, you know, to connect the engine directly with the transmission to do the dyno. That's just how the dynos work. So let's see what it does on the dyno.
All right, what are you thinking this thing's gonna make horsepower wise, and probably torque, because we can actually hook that up now. Because Adam, we couldn't.
I don't think, you know what, I hope it's really high, but I think I'm gonna be like high 5s, low 6s.
High 5s, low 6s. Okay.
Yeah. What are you at?
No, I think it's either gonna be like just barely 6, like 604, 606, or it's gonna be like under by like 585 or something.
Right. I'm kind of where I'm around that. What was Sean at?
Sean said this whole kit is like 6 to 650 to the wheels, because it's supercharged and everything, and like all the stuff that has done to it. Because he was looking at some forums and they were saying if you put this kit on it, that's what you're kind of looking at. So
dang, well, I guess we're gonna see. The guy said, he's like, disclaimer, it sounds like there's been a lot of work done to it. He's like, it's not on us if it blows up on the dyno.
Oh, nice.
So what are the chances? I'm looking at probably like 50-50. This thing just explodes in the shop while we're getting a dyno.
But think of all the great content. That's a million view video, easy.
I mean, the thing runs pretty solid.
No, yeah, it runs super solid.
No, he didn't say 50-50. He said like 45-65. Or 45-55. No, what do you think this thing's gonna do?
Man, I'm gonna hope over 650.
Over 650?
I mean, if I get 650 to the wheels, I might just keep it. I might just work real hard.
Is that your threshold now? If it doesn't do over 650 to the wheels, it's not in your shop. It's not in your garage.
I brought earbuds. What do they come out to?
620.
620? Okay.
Yeah, horsepower, 580 on torque.
Dang, that's not bad. 620, yeah. We were thinking under 6. Yeah, we were thinking under 6.
Yeah.
Man, that's sweet. That's awesome. Cool.
620.
620.
Yeah, it's like my...
Well, I guess it's not 650, so Sean has to get rid of it.
That'd be funny if it was like 659 or 649.
649. 620, dude. That's to the wheels. That's stupid, yo.
It's probably
like 675 to the crank, right? 650.
Yeah, to the
650. Yeah, maybe 650 to the crank.
I don't know. There's usually a pretty big discrepancy between those two.
Yeah. What do you think that would like equate to the crank? Yeah, is there like a formula behind it, or is it kind of just?
Yeah, it's about 15% for a stick.
Oh, for real? And then what is it for automatic?
20.
20? Wow.
So that'd be about 713 at the flywheel.
Holy cow.
713 at the flywheel. Let's go.
Okay, cool.
So can we say it has 713 horsepower?
Look at you guys at the flywheel.
True.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah.
They just did the first run.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know to the crank or to the wheels?
Wait, they can tell both?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it's about 15%. If it's a manual, it's about 15% increase to the crank.
So it's pushing out 713 to the crank.
Wait, how much to the wheel?
It's at 625 to the wheels, 713 to the crank, 580 foot-pounds of torque.
I think it work.
625 to the wheel, 713 to the crank.
Dang.
Yeah, it's slow.
Do they think it's got any more room in it?
We don't know. I can ask him.
Applications?
We literally just ran the first run. That's the first run.
So, that's sick. Whenever, how much torque?
580.
580.
That's pretty good.
Kicks. Ask him if he thinks, try to get an idea if you can figure out like what modifications have been done to it.
Okay.
Give any idea what's been done to it.
Okay.
And then,
Is there more room to go?
yeah, be like, how much more room, how can we make it faster?
How do we get to 1,000 horsepower?
Need 100 more horsepower, 100 more foot-pounds of torque.
At least, right? That's just like baseline.
Awesome.
Dang, sick, bro.
It's 623 that time.
623. Okay, cool. 623. And what was the second torque? 567.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
623.
a little hot on the backup run there.
Yeah. Do you think this engine has much more, or is that kind of maxing out?
Without knowing anything about it,
You don't really know. Yeah. Do you have any idea, like?
it's definitely got a cam in
Yeah,
it.
it definitely has a
And a supercharger.
Yeah.
You mean just looking at it and listening to it, you can't tell me exactly what's been done to this car? What would be like, if you had a stock one of these, what would you tell somebody would be the max amount of horsepower they can get out of it?
Say what now?
If you had a stock one of these, what would be the max horsepower you'd tell somebody?
With a supercharger?
Yeah.
We generally cap it about where it's at.
Okay.
Oh, at 625.
Yeah. Okay.
Why is that? Just because you get into other issues? Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like this one has a cam in it too, so it's
So
not.
somebody's been inside the motor.
Well, yeah. So for a cam and a blower, 620 is not that impressive,
Yeah.
because we can make 600 with just a blower.
Oh,
Interesting.
So
So there's more room to go.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Awesome.
Sick.
Thanks.
right on.
Now I gotta drive this thing the speed limit back home.
Hey Cody, where's that picture at? That's the inside of your left front tire.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
You
Cool.
got cords hanging out of it.
So let's drive it home, park it, not touch it.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, if we were to get this tuned, how much more horsepower do you think we could get just tuned?
I don't know.
You'd have to look at it.
I'd have to put our wideband air fuel ratio sensor in it.
Okay.
See where the air fuel is. Looks like it's rich.
Okay.
Based on
Yeah,
what's
with
pumping
the
out.
stuff coming out.
And then we'd have to read the tune out. You'd have to monitor fuel pressure and boost to see where it's at,
Okay, cool.
and then go from there.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. And then what was that cost around?
$100 an hour.
$100 an hour? Okay, and that's how many hours do you think?
Generally, you're in the 5 hour neighborhood.
5 hours? Okay, cool.
6, yeah.
Awesome. Sounds good. Cool. Thanks a lot. Dude, for 25 grand, 620 to the wheels, 713 to the crank.
and
is-
with like a couple $1,000, you can make it do stupid power.
yeah, like crazy power.
Worth it.
Why would you ever get rid of that? Like,
Worth it. Let me call him back.
yeah.
Yo, he said he would definitely need to dive into it, but it would take about 5 hours worth of work for him to like diagnose and tune, and it's about $100 an hour, but he doesn't have any idea as to what it'd be pushing out.
Oh, so it'd be like 600 bucks from the.
Yeah, about $500 for him to like get in there and like do the stuff to figure it all out.
Yo, that might make a lot of sense to get that done. Just at least someone can tell us what's been done to it.
Yeah, and then you can have a huge list of it. Like even if you go to sell it, then you can kind of tell it. I mean, that's what's adding the value, right?
And also, he said it's running rich.
Just bringing it around.
Okay,
for
cool.
Me, man.
Awesome.
So, if you guys want to do something, just give me a shout.
Cool. Sounds good, man.
2,000 horsepower. He said 2,000 horsepower.
Nitrous. We want nitrous. Cool. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
You guys have a good one.
You too.
You hear him? He said 2,000.
2,000 horsepower.
2,000. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if you want me to schedule something or if you'll schedule it or whatever you want me to do, but yeah.
Yo, Sean. He said it's definitely running rich. He said just by looking at the exhaust, what was coming out of the back, he's like, that thing's running rich, dude. But yeah. So I'm sure a tune would help that.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Yeah. Let's. Yeah. While you're there, schedule a tune appointment.
Okay. Yeah. We'll walk back into it right now. Sick. Thank you. Later.
So I knew there was something up with these front tires, although every time I looked underneath them, I couldn't find a bubble or something like that. Once you get to like certain highway speeds, it would start to vibrate, and it kind of sucked going the speed limit. And so they actually could see that there was belts showing on both tires on multiple different spots. I never saw them. We picked up a brand new set of, before we took it back to the dyno, we picked up a brand new set of Michelins to match the rears. The rears were brand new. And then the day before the dyno, we took them over to our friends over at Cooper's right down the street, and they put them on for us. It was really cheap, and they did it really quick too. They got them in like right away. So the thing's been getting tuned for about 6 hours. I'm hoping for like 100 horsepower. I'm hoping for big. I want a huge punch. You know what I mean? We'll see. Let's see what it does.
Last time it was in, when we baselined it, it was 623.
Yep.
Right now it's 648 horsepower. And then the torque, for some reason today we're getting a little bump in the graph.
Okay.
So it's up about 30 foot-pound of torque.
Dang. And that's just off of tuning it.
Yeah. Dang. So and it makes about 8 pound of boost.
8 pounds of boost. Okay.
Yeah.
What's kind of like, what would you max out boost wise on that?
Without knowing what is inside this engine, that's probably it.
That's probably it. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So, because we know it's got a camshaft in it by the way it idles, but we don't know what it has for pistons, rods, anything like that.
Okay,
so
cool.
It's pretty much about maxed out.
Cool. So yeah, it's 648. So it was 623 and now it's 648.
Yep.
And it was 567. You're saying it's now 5.
When we go here to peak, it's like 586.
586. Dang. Sweet.
Yep.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right. So Son just got here. What was your guess? Because they just ran it. So what do you think? Originally it was 623.
623. I'm hoping for another 100.
Off a tune?
Yeah.
Dude, you're crazy. This is they don't ever get that much off a tune.
All right. Well, then I guess my guess is worthless.
All right. So wait, what do you think? What do you think it is running now?
670, 680,
648.
648.
Yeah. He said they did like another minor tune on it. They had fixed the air fuel ratio and stuff like that.
How's it all looking?
Good. I mean, it's we don't know what's done in the bottom end, so we don't know what pistons or rods or anything are in it.
Do you think they're stock?
Who knows?
Yeah.
I know the camshaft isn't stock.
Right.
What else is done, we don't know. It's making 7.5, 8 pound of boost right now. 7.5 right at the end.
Okay.
So if it is a stock bottom end, it's about the limit, you know.
Okay.
So the only way we would know,
By blowing it up.
taking the motor apart, yeah, or blowing it up. So it is out of fuel system right now. Fuel pressure starts, you know, 58 to 59 pound in spec. At the end of the run here, it's down to 55. That's, you know, that's like it.
All right, so here's what's going on. We actually had to go back and re-edit this because we got demonetized because there's a song playing in the background that YouTube picked up. So I'm asking him, is this a good, streetable, reliable, conservative amount of horsepower? And he says, yes, it is. And then I said, how much more boost can we push out of this thing? And then he gives me well, he actually walks over and looks at the supercharger and checks that out. That's what he's doing right now. He's walking over, and then he's like, well, this thing can push out 12 pounds of boost. So right now it's pushing out 8 pounds of boost. If we do 12 pounds of boost, how much more power would that be? He said like 50 more horsepower. So that kind of wraps up that. So then I asked him, can the transmission and rear end handle that type of power? And he said it all depends on how you drive it, which is just kind of like, that's with everything. He said the transmission's pretty bulletproof. The rear ends they have known to blow up when you really beat up on them. We might decide to sell it. Let me know if you know anyone who wants a mildly, basically stock Grand Sport. Well, it's extra
like 30
horsepower?
Yeah, 30.
I wonder if I'll even notice 30 horsepower. That's a Hellcat.
It's a decent amount of torque.
That's a bad motor. Yeah, it's pretty stock, all motor. You know what I mean? Question for you.
Yes, sir.
If I had a stock Grand Sport, what would it cost to do all those mods to get it to that point?
Put a blower and stuff on
The
it.
blower and the intercooler and the cam and just like ballparks.
What is that? 650 at the wheels. So if we put a good supercharger on it, that's a little bit of a small one. So if we put a good Pro Charger system on there, some headers and a high flow exhaust, to get it to that, you're probably going to be in the $800 to $8,500 range.
That's it. That's pretty cheap. That's pretty cheap horsepower right there.
Yeah, so you can't. It's hard to beat superchargers. You know?
Yeah.
So, because it would cost you $7 grand to do heads and cam on it, keep it normally aspirated, and you're still not going to make that kind of power.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Now those heads are stock. You think?
Externally, they look like stock cast. Well, they are stock GM casting. What's done to them inside,
Right.
if anything, I don't know. I mean, you can tell by the way it idles, it has a cam in it.
Right.
So they would have at least had to change valve springs.
It's got headers on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you think someone probably has around what 10 into it?
I would say.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Right.
Because that's an A&A Corvette supercharger kit on there.
Okay.
On that, and they're pretty proud of their name. So you know, all their brackets, they have them made specifically for them, and then they use a multitude of different head units for superchargers.
Gotcha.
On that. So
Gotcha.
it is good stuff.
Cool.
Well,
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
See you later, man.
Thanks. It was nice
See ya.
seeing you.
Yep.
I'm gonna be bringing that Adam in during the winter time. We'll get that thing over 300.
They would ask me, hey, whatever happened to that happen? Adam, I thought we were gonna do something. Like that.
We're gonna do something. Well, I took the shifter was sloppy, so I got a billet one to shift the mechanism, and then it didn't fit. It was too tall, so I got it planed down, and I had to get some bunch of custom pieces made. So it's taking forever.
Yeah.
It's in pieces right now, but when I get it back running, I'm gonna beat it up a little bit, and then when it's cold outside, I'm gonna bring it back to you, and we're gonna make some big power out of it.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
See ya.
You have a good one.
You too.
All right, so the car's pushing out of around 650 horsepower, or 580 foot-pounds of torque. That's actually more. That's more than the Z06, the C6 Z06, and the C6 ZR1. That's more than the C7 base and the C7 Z06. It's a pretty quick car. It's almost as much horsepower and torque as the C7 ZR1. Not quite. So I'm pretty happy with it. Maybe I'll keep it around, do some more videos. Maybe I'll sell it and build or buy something that's already built. I don't know. Maybe we'll do something else. So there's two ways to look at it from what happened with the dyno. We gained about 30 horsepower, 25 horsepower, maybe 30 foot-pounds of torque, which if you look at it in this way, I spent $600 to get 0.0, I mean, you gotta look at it. 30 horsepower is big when you have 200 horsepower. 30 horsepower is not big when you have 620 horsepower. That's 3% of the power of the car. Not a huge increase. So bang for your buck. You can look at it as being like, it's not very great. The other way to look at it is, it's tuned properly. I know it's tuned properly. I know it's running properly. I know it's a safe, reliable tune, and that's the way the car is set up. So that makes me feel better about it. If I decide to keep it, I feel better. If I decide to sell it, that makes me feel better. So that was fun. I'm glad we got to learn that stuff. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe. We got some from YouTube. Yo, Caleb. Yo, check it out.
Oh, we got another one.
Wow.
Wow, don't sound so excited.
I mean,
wow, we got another one.
If it's not a platinum one, I'm not as pumped anymore. Is that the next one, platinum?
Gold. Diamond's the last one. Diamond's the
Nobody's
huge
got
one.
it, right?
No, a couple people have gotten him.
Dang!
You've just done something a very few YouTube creators accomplished. 100,000 subscribers, blah, blah, blah. 6-digit milestone. Susan. That's horrible. Oh. Wojcinski. Whoa, I don't know. Damn. Clean it off.
Put it next to the other one.
Yeah, put it next to the other one.
Let's go, little friend. Yeah, should we get? Dang!
2 silver play buttons. It's pretty hype.
Thanks, everybody. This is all because of you
You're welcome.
and Caleb. We should buy some more of these. People sell these on
I know, I
Oh,
saw
that's
it, but
crazy.
they actually like don't go for that much money.
Yeah, they're only like $1,000 for like a legit one, and if you get the fake ones, they're even cheaper.
Let's just get one for. Let's buy real other people's channels for $1,000.
If you want a play button, you obviously have rights
Cover
to
the
the channel,
entire
right?
wall with silver play buttons.